So hello everybody. My name is Tokoni Edmontanabo. I'm from Nigeria, West Africa. I'm a student at Trent University, a fourth year business student. I am also a youth facilitator for a program called Young Men Leading Change, run by the Kawartha Sexual Assault Centre. Um, and Young Men Leading Change is basically a program where newcomer men like me, we get to discuss and have wonderful, excellent conversations on how to end gender-based violence, as well as creates a safe space where, we usually don't have the space to have those kind of conversations, right? It's mostly probably it's probably overpopulated by, I guess, white settlers and people not like me, right? And me and you. So it's a safe space where we can have those conversations and have our voice heard. And yeah, how I got started with Young Men Leading Change is pretty interesting. In 2017, before I came to Canada, um, on the particular day when I was coming to Canada, we had a roadblock situation, and it we later found out a roadblock situation, my bad, that actually almost stopped me from coming to Canada. I blocked the whole road to the airport, and we later found out that it was because of a femicide situation that was happening, and the people in the community were becoming angry at that. And the atmosphere back home was becoming very prevalent with gender-based violence, sexual violence, gang rape, and stuff like that. Those were becoming the norms. And upon hearing that, it sort of got me very mad and angry, and it got me very, I guess, thoughtful to think that, oh, what if it was my sister? What if it was my girlfriend? What if it was my friend, right? That these things were happening to. And at some point, there was a story where it took a lady. There were gang bangs happening, gang rape happening, and by high school boys. And it took a lady to grab a bunch of security guard and walk every girl safely home. And that's what it took for those girls to arrive safely at home, right? And it sort of stirred up, I wouldn't say a passion, but a sort of anger and I guess passion that had me thinking, what if there was a way that I could have these conversations, right, with men like me, and we could have this conversation and join this fight and ending gender-based violence, which is what Young Men Leading Change is about. And I found out about Young Men Leading Change in one of the Trent clubs and groups days. And I met up with Alicia, and she told me about Young Men Leading Change, and I was very fired up to join. I was excited and I was ready to go because this is something I wanted to do. It's something I wanted to even start a nonprofit organization for. And they had already started. So that's how I got involved in this in the conversation, and I got involved in how I want to aid the fight in ending gender-based violence. And to be honest, if you're somebody like me, you're a newcomer man who's ready and wants to have your voice heard, I want to have very interesting, excellent conversations on how we can end gender-based violence, you can join Young Men Leading Change.
So my name is Alicia Fisher. I come from the Kawartha Sexual Assault Centre, and we are the agency that is providing this space for this program to happen with Tokoni and the Young Men Leading Change program. So Tokoni has been talking a lot about gender-based violence, and we talk a lot about sexual violence at the center, but gender-based violence is violence enacted against someone based on their gender identity, their gender expression, or perceived gender. Now, this disproportionately impacts women, and this type of violence tends to be sexual in nature. This violence also impacts members of the LGBTQ+ community, as well as Indigenous folk, and even goes on to look at more rural communities, northern communities, remote populations, as well as people with disabilities, newcomers, children, and seniors. And so Lucas, who is a facilitator from our Mending program, is going to talk a little bit about stats, not only within Canada, but also right here in Peterborough.
Thank you, Alicia. So I'm going to start with talking about some Canadian statistics. We know that 1 in 2 trans-identified people, 1 in 3 women, and 1 in 6 men will experience sexual violence in their lifetime. So when you hear those statistics, you can think of 2 trans people you know, and 3 women you know, and 6 men you know, and you can see that this is a this is affecting a lot of people, and we need to engage in it. We need to interrupt this. And talking more about some statistics at our universities, the government of Ontario conducted a student voice survey and asked Fleming students about their experiences with sexual violence and gender-based violence on campus. 54% of Fleming students experienced sexual harassment or violence. 73 witnessed sexual harassment or violence. 25 reported being stalked, and 25 reported non-consensual sex, which means 1 in 4 students at Fleming College have been the victim of a sexual assault. And regarding trend statistics, 68 reported experiencing sexual harassment, 81 witnessed sexual harassment or violence, 28 reported being stalked, and 30% reported non-consensual sex, which means that 1 in 3 students at Trent University were the victim of sexual assault. So while these stats in and of themselves are informative about like the prevalence rates about sexual violence and gender-based violence on campus, something that it neglects is the experience of racialized and newcomer men. So now I'm going to share it to Tokoni, who's going to talk about why that's important and how that relates to young men making change.
So thank you so much, Lucas. Basically, when we talk about intersectionality, it's pretty much, if I want to talk about it a little bit, it's pretty much just saying in the most plain and simple form is I, as a Black newcomer man, well, I would say newcomer, but I, as a Black man and a Black newcomer man, in my experience of life, it's basically different from, let's say, a white settler like Lucas, or a male white settler like Lucas, or a female white settler like Alicia. And that's basically just what Young Men Leading Change is. It provides a space where, with all our shared experiences as newcomer men, we can have the conversations and discuss these experiences and how these experiences and the intersectionality of these experiences, how they interconnect, how they apply to our lives, and how we can use those experiences to create a safe space for ourselves, for our family, and our friends, right? And that's what Young Men Leading Change is about. Not only do we have these conversations about intersectionality and these experiences that we have and how we can use it to end gender-based violence, it also provides the opportunity for us to learn some marketing skills, some business-related skills like teamwork, leadership, because we also have, at the end of the program, we have a project, right? And this project is a project that we all put heads together, and we create the project, and we educate the mass, educate social media and our community on, how we want to end gender-based violence and sexual violence. It's our way of saying, yo, this is what we discussed, and now we're bringing it to our community. So if you think about it, it's a way that we're impacting our community positively, right? And that's just in a nutshell what Young Men Leading Change is about. How we can impact our community and make it a safer space for us, our friends, and our family. And if you're ready to join that conversation, if you're ready to be a leader in your community, just hit Lucas up. He's gonna give you all the details that you need, or Alicia, and they'll give you all the details that you need. Just hit us up. It's gonna be a fun time. I promise you that.
Thank you, Tokoni. So you can send me an email at lschaefer@kawarthasac.ca, letting me know whether or not you're interested in joining the Young Men Leading Change program. The first session is going to be August 10th at 7 o'clock. Our sessions are going to be held online with Tokoni leading and me co-facilitating. And I'm super excited to see you. Thank you so much.
I definitely wish that everyone who's hearing this and who's watching this, I hope to see you there. And yeah, just join me and make a difference. We're gonna have a lot of wonderful conversations. We're gonna do a lot of interesting things. And yeah, let's get it. I'm ready. I'm fired up. I hope you're fired up like me.